Hello! Now in this video we're going to be talking about this. And this is my laptop and I really like it. It's a gaming laptop and when I purchased it, it was actually quite powerful, quite expensive and quite high end. Now that was a few years ago, so it's now none of those things, but it's still very usable and I do tend to take this away with me on holiday so I can actually do my design work and also video editing on it, and it's very reliable. Now the problem is with it, it is hot. And I don't mean that in the cute and sexy way, I mean as in it roasts your love plums whenever it's sat on your laptop after just literally minutes. Now I don't know if you can hear the fan at the moment, but it is very loud and it's just going crazy. Now I think part of the problem is the fans inside might be a bit dusty, and also the CPU and also the GPU, so that's the brain of the computer and also the thing that makes all the pretty graphics, might need repasting. Now you might not know what repasting is, and basically between the CPU and the cooling plate there is a thermal paste which transfers the heat away, or transfers the cooling in. It's one of those two, and basically after a long period of time this thermal paste can start to harden and stop working as effectively, and I think that's what's wrong with this laptop, because even after just sort of being on for a few minutes and not actually doing anything, so not actually gaming or editing or anything like that, it just gets very hot. Now the problem is, as well as, you know, roasting the old chap, when a CPU gets hot it gets throttled by itself, and again that's not in a fun throttling way, it's in a oh dear, I can't cope with this heat, I'm going to slow down my performance and try and cool down kind of way. So I thought I'd do is demonstrate what it's doing, and then we'll crack it open and see if removing the crusty old thermal paste and putting some nice new stuff in actually improves the situation. Now I've never done this before and it might not work, so who knows, you'll have to stick around to find out. But I tell you what, if you could give this video a very early like right now, just because it might all go horribly wrong, but we will see. So let's make it so you can see the screen and see what I'm doing a little bit better. I'm going to run a bit of software called ADA 64 Extreme, and basically it taps into all the sensors and things in the computer and can basically tell you how everything's performing. That's the theory. Okay, so at the moment the CPU is running at a rather toasty 73-74 degrees. Now the usage isn't actually all that high, it is sort of under a low usage, but it is getting quite hot. And when it gets hot it throttles, and as it's saying on the screen, overheating has been detected, so that's not a good thing. Now if we run a stress test on the computer, hopefully this won't affect the recording, we'll see. So now basically Ada's ramping up all the usage of everything and just putting the computer under stress. So this is the kind of stress it would be under if it was having a heavy gaming session or doing some very complex video editing. Now the usage has rocketed up to 100%, so it's using all the CPU, and as you can see on the red line there, the CPU is throttling itself. It is effectively in the wardrobe of a Premierian with its belt round its neck and an orange in its mouth. And yeah, the temperature of the CPU has hit 86 degrees, which is pretty high. I mean, it's not like as high as these things can go, but I would say that is unsatisfactory and it's creating all this throttling that's going on. So that does show that there is definitely a problem here, and hopefully with a bit of cleaning and a bit of repasting we can fix it. We will see. So yeah, I think we'll just stop that. So now the temperature is slowly coming down. The fans at the side of it are sort of whipping out a sort of volcanic heat. So yeah, the fans are pushing out the heat, but it's obviously still retaining quite a lot of heat, which is not ideal. With any computer-based things, the cooler the better. Right, okay, well, let's stop sharing my screen and then turn this off and then crack it open on the blue mat. Okay then, so I've got my trusty Kit Pakes branded screwdriver. Look at that. gorgeous. And we're gonna crack this bad boy open. Now I have opened it a few times to upgrade the hard drive, so I think I vaguely recall how to do it. There's just these screws on the back, and I think it sort of clicks out of position. Now it goes without saying, taking the back off your laptop can invalidate the warranty. This is quite a few years old now, so that warranty is long gone. Thankfully this uses all the same size screws, so that makes my life a little bit easier. If you do this based on watching this video and it all goes horribly wrong for you, it's not my fault. This is for entertainment purposes only. Whether it's entertaining or not, you decide. I think I need some sort of spudgy tool. Let me get onto that. Now, how dusty do you think it's going to be inside of here? Is it going to be a complete disgrace, or is it going to be okay? I honestly don't know. Oh, hang on. Hang on! There's a cheeky screw underneath here. I'd forgotten all about that. Stuck it back so well last time. There you are, you little sausage. Okay. Well, that is the top of the case. Let me zoom down so you can revel in the filth as well. That is absolutely disgusting, actually. I do feel slightly ashamed of myself. Okay, so I think how it works is there's a CPU under there, I'd guess, and the GPU under here. And these are cooling pipes, and they basically cool. The fan spins and blows out coolness and dust by the look of this. And yeah, I'm not surprised in the slightest that this was struggling, because it is absolutely riddled with dust. And yeah, I'd imagine it's choked everything up so much that it's just not going to work as effectively and as efficiently as it should do. That is disgusting. So I think what we need to do is clean it above anything else. But also we need to take all this off. So let's do that. First off, I'm going to undo this connector. And then let's unscrew this. So I think now the fan will come off. Yeah, that's quite the grubby boy. We'll set that aside for cleaning. So now we've got the sort of cooling fins here, which are just clogged with dust along here. And what we need to do is basically get it out of here. Now I've just noticed here these screws are numbered, so maybe that's the order of tightness. So maybe if we start with 4 and then go to 3, go to 2 and then go to 1. Perfect. Right, so we've got some more screws here. Now I think that means this is all now loose. Yes, it is. Okay, so now you can see we've got some thermal paste, which is really quite dry. There's a little bit on those. I think they're power distribution chaps over here. And yeah, this, I'm not sure which way round this is, whether this is the CPU and that's the GPU or vice versa. But yeah, the thermal paste isn't very good. And look, as I said earlier, the fins there are just absolutely gopping. So I think we'll clean the existing thermal paste off here and here and there and there. I'm tempted to leave the power distribution ones, largely because it looks like a different kind of paste and I don't want to balls it up. So yeah, we'll clean up those, we'll clean up these, and then we'll just give everything else a really good clean. I think I'm going to have to take it outside and blast it with some air. So yeah, and I need to sort this mess out as well. That is absolutely grim. So we've got some good old IPA, isopropyl alcohol, and cotton bud. This seems to be like capstan tape. That is stuck hard and I don't want to mess things up, so yeah. It's quite hard to see, but that must be the GPU because it says NVIDIA on it. Now I think this silver thing is like a sticky pad or something, because you would normally see like the die of the CPU, so it would say what the CPU is, like much like this does for NVIDIA. It's very strange. Right, now that's the actual chips cleaned, got to give this a little bit of a clean too. You can see just how bad the thermal paste is, or was, by the way. It was just in solid lumps. It shouldn't be in solid lumps. It's very gooey and sticky. Yeah, I don't know what to do here. My instinct is to leave it. Yeah, I'll leave that. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this outside and give it a damn good blast and clean as much rubbish out as I can. So back in a second. Right, well, I'm back from outside and I've given it a pretty good blast. Now, unfortunately, I ran out of compressed air not long in. So this bit up here is looking cleaner. Those fins are looking less blocked. And I'd say the fan is better too. So it's not perfect, but it is a lot better. Now it comes to applying the thermal paste. Now I've got a little tube of this, and this is Arctic Silver 5. I think this tube was about £5. It's only a tiny little tube, but you do only need a small amount. You need the perfect amount of thermal paste. So I'm going to give it a go and see if I can do the perfect amount of thermal paste. Yeah, maybe. Okay, so it's a bit stringy at the end, but yeah, that'll do. Thermal paste isn't conductive, so if a bit does spread onto the chip, it's not going to be the end of the world. It's different to like liquid silver, which is conductive and will just make a mess if you put too much on, but that'll do. That's certainly better thermal paste than what was there. So now we need to reinstate this. Perfect, so I'll just re-screw it all back together. The screw that seems to go near the DVD drive is actually longer, I think. And now it's time to put the fan back in. Now, if you found this video fun or indeed helpful, there is a thanks button below this, and you can thank me, and you can thank me like with money. So if you want to thank me with money, then do it. Or, you know, you can just leave a regular comment saying, this has been interesting, cheers Kip, whatever, I'm easy. Very important, plug the fan back in. That won't help the temperatures. So in theory, it should all be ready to go back together. So, alakazam. Wow. There we go, it's all back together. Perfect. Well, it's powered on, so that's a good start. And also, the fan's not on. I mean, it's on, but it's not. Let's see what Ada64 is saying. Now, this could have been a complete waste of time. And I fear it might be. Okay, what we got, what we got, what we got. Holy sugar balls. Can you see that? The CPU isn't throttling at all. And the temperature's like 57, 56. So we're just changing that thermal paste and giving it a clean. I'm not nearly 30 degrees off the temperature. Now the temperature's rising a little bit now, only slightly, but there's no sign of throttling. So the CPU isn't getting so hot that it's trying to slow itself down so it gets cooler. Yeah, there's literally no throttling. So let's put it through the same stress test that we did before, just briefly, and see if we can make the CPU throttle or make the temperature go absolutely crazy. But it's definitely cooler than it was. So I would say so far, this has been a success. We're ramping it up. So the CPU usage is at 100% and the temperature's going up to about 83. Look, now it's starting to throttle. But you've got to remember, before it was throttling before I'd even started this CPU test. And it was at sort of 80 odd degrees before I'd started this test. So if I just stop the testing now, there we go, the utilization is dropping to a sort of sensible level and the temperature's going down with it. So the fan is doing its job, but moreover, the thermal paste that I applied is helping transfer the heat a lot more efficiently than it did before. That's really good. I'm really pleased with that. I must admit, I was very fearful that I'd just switch it back on and it would ramp back up to 80 degrees and stay like that and the CPU would be throttling. But it's only throttling when I'm absolutely hammering it with 100% utilization. That's really good. I mean, it's got a high-powered CPU and a high-powered GPU in it, so it's always going to be quite hot. And giving it a bit of a clean has made a world of difference. So hopefully when it's on my lap now, I won't be overheating in important areas. Well, there you go. I think that's been a successful video, and it was relatively easy to do. So if you've got a laptop that's overheating and underperforming, then I definitely recommend giving it a try. If you're not sure how to dismantle your laptop, there's lots of guides online, like in places like iFixit and just on YouTube, where you can see how to dismantle your particular make and model of laptop. And you know, this paste was literally £5, so we spent like £5 and a bit of time in getting this all taken apart. But it's given a bit more life to this laptop. I'm really happy with that. So I think that's all for now. Please do join the channel if you've enjoyed this video. If you join the video from the $2.99 and above tier, you get to see these videos before anyone else. And the more you pay, the more bonuses you get. So, you know, it works out nicely and it helps support this channel and make it so I can buy thermal paste. But you know, if you just want to subscribe, that would be awesome. Subscribing is absolutely free. So yeah, what do you think? Drop me a comment. Would you try this on your laptop? Have you done this on your laptop? Have you got anything else that I could do to maybe cool this mother down? Well, that's it for now. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. But for now, it's game over.